set off towards school. It was too hot, and there was no shade to protect him. What do you see in the picture? What don't you see in the picture?
Thank you so much for joining us today for the launch of the Berks County Public Libraries StoryWalk, here in partnership with Berks Nature, the Nature Place. I'd like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished guests joining us from the Office of Commonwealth Libraries. Deputy Secretary and State Librarian Sue Banks, along with Heather Warren Smith, Heather Sharp, Sarah Green, and Carrie Cleary. StoryWalks promote several key areas of health in an outdoor setting: physical activity, early literacy, and family engagement. The StoryWalk project was created by Ann Ferguson of Montpelier, Vermont, first appearing in 2007. Library StoryWalks made their debut in Berks County during the initial months of the pandemic. The Boyertown Community Library established a seasonal version at their local park as a way to connect with their community while adhering to social distancing guidelines at that time. Following their success, the system partnered with the Reading Public Museum to bring a permanent exhibit to their Arboretum Trail. We are excited to partner with Berks Nature to bring the StoryWalk experience to their beautiful grounds. This StoryWalk project is made possible by a Library Services and Technology Act funding from the United States Institute of Museum and Library Services, administered by the Pennsylvania Department of Education, Office of Commonwealth Libraries. Special thanks to Allison Mackley, Vice President of Education at Berks Nature, for her dedication to this project. Now I'd like to introduce Kim Murphy, President of Berks Nature.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Distinguished guests and friends and family of Berks Nature, welcome to the Nature Place. I'd like to thank the Berks County Public Libraries for partnering with us to provide this StoryWalk installation. Berks Nature calls the Nature Place and Angelica Creek Park home. This is a public city park, and we look forward to visitors discovering these stories as they enjoy the park. We're growing as an organization, and we have had over 10,000 visitors to the park and the Nature Place in this past year. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes and think about a favorite tree of yours. Maybe it's in your backyard, or it's at school, or maybe it's here. Maybe it has special memories of you sitting beneath its shade or watching the wildlife live in its habitat. Now imagine that that tree just uproots one day and is gone. How would you feel? What would be affected in our lives if we had no trees? You can open your eyes. The story that we have chosen to open our StoryWalk describes just that dilemma, where our main character, a little boy named Goran, finds his favorite tree and all of the trees in the forest are gone. We were inspired by this beautiful story written by international author Maria Quintana Silva and illustrated by International Latino Book Award winner Sylvia Alvarez, because at Berks Nature, we believe that nature is essential to our quality of life. At Berks Nature, we know how important trees are to our physical and mental health, and every October and April, we plant thousands of trees throughout our community. Trees help us filter and purify our water, they purify our air, and they help combat climate change by storing carbon. They cool our streets and cities. Trees provide housing to millions of species, and they help protect us against flooding and water pollution. Our preschoolers are going to take us down to the beginning page of the story and unveil the StoryWalk in just a few minutes. And I hope as you read this story, you consider how you can help protect forests and trees by planting trees, conserving paper and buying only recycled paper materials, advocate for your local government to do more for tree and forest protection, and support conservation organizations, just to name a few. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please feel free to wander throughout the park and enjoy the trails when you've finished reading the story. I think we are going to make tours available. We have a store in our lobby and wetland trails throughout the park. A special thanks to Vice President for Education Allison Mackley for shepherding this process, and to our facilities manager Brian Burchek for installing all of the storyboards.